So apparently in Kenya, there is no such thing as 50-50 when it comes to the repartition of good when divorce arrives between people or a couple. So when a man and a woman decide to part ways and they take it to the state to have divorce, there is no such thing as 50-50 splitting everything in the middle like many other countries. Now, is this a good thing? We're going to try to find out very quickly. So the Supreme Court, this is very interesting, fellas. I think these are the type of things that we need to understand and we need to explore and figure out who we truly are. The Supreme Court rules couples not entitled to automatic 50% of matrimonial property upon divorce. The Supreme Court of Kenya ruled that marital property must be shared on basis of fairness and not in accordance with an automatic fixed formula that imposes 50-50 split. What do you think about this? This is very interesting. So this came up after there was an incident about a couple that after living 13 years together, they decided to part ways. Unfortunately, I don't know why people get married to get divorced. Yeah, some people will say you don't think about getting divorced when you get married. But it's just very sad because the society of today, people get in to get out. They get in for as long as it's sweet. When it's become sort of sour, they find other options. Anyway, I firmly believe that you need to fight it through. You need to find solutions. If you can't find solutions, find elders, speak to elders. I'm sure there are ways of finding solutions. Unless it's physical aggression, violence, abuse like that. I don't see why you get married to divorce.
Hawa wanawake walikuwa na take advantage juu manake mtu anaezolewa baada ya kama mwaka mmoja hivi anatafuta kisababu hivi halafu anaachana tayari na ule mume anakimbilia kotini.
I feel like if you're going to divorce, don't get married. I don't want that. Like if you're going to get married, then I'm getting married to you until we fix it. Anyway, let's get back on track on our story. So in Kenya, you cannot say, okay, well, now I'm done with you. Give me 50% of your building, or I want your car as well. You can keep that one. I want 3 of the 6 houses we've owned together. I want half of your millions. I want half of your properties. I want half of your business. Just because we were married for a couple of years. And I believe many people have different arguments about this. Now, in this specific case in Kenya, what happened was, there was a couple that went to court because they wanted to divorce after 13 years in marriage. And later on, when they got married, the man had a little bit of his business working. The woman had absolutely nothing. So they got married together. So after marriage, they tried to create a family. Within 13 years of their marriage, they built one big house where they stayed together. And they had several rental houses where many Kenyans rented. Upon divorce, the woman wanted half, 50% of everything, as according to what most people know. The man said, no, I'm not giving you 50% of my stuff. I've been on the street. I've been piling up things. I've been having sleepless nights while you've been home. Yes, cooking and whatever. But I've been working. These are my stuff. These are not yours. And even if there should be a split, it shouldn't be 50-50. The first court gave it to the woman, so they went 50-50. Then the husband appealed, asking for a second review, where they finally gave him 70%, whilst his ex-wife got 30%. Now my question is this, was this a fair judgment? How do you feel about this?
Well, umekaa pale unaletewa kila kitu. Why do you even want to walk out of that marriage? You should stay there. If you want to go venye ulikuja na hiyo bag moja ulikuja nayo.
You marry somebody who decide not to work for you, to help you out, to cook for you, to make you feel better, to help you, and all that stuff. Take care of your children if you have any children. And by the time you divorce, you don't want to give her half of the things. Is that fair? What about the input that she's brought in? One will say, what about the time I gave you with my life, not investing in myself, not creating business, not having your work on my own? Because most men, let's be honest, as much as many men will tell you, I want a woman that works, I want a woman that has her own money, but most men will prefer you to stay home if they had the means to keep you at home. Not many men want to see their wife go to work where there's a probable creep amongst her co-worker. Most men will prefer to have their wives at home if they have the money to sustain their need. So is it fair to say, I'm not going to give you 50% of what I possess today because I was in the street working hard whilst she was actually home trying to cook for you and make things right for you? Make sure the household is looked after. Take care of your children. Is this fair from a man to do? Now, the other argument would be she contributed because she gave you the emotional support that you needed at that specific time. She contributed in the building and the creation of your business because she gave you ideas. I know some women are not very clever. I'm just saying. They have no ideas. I mean, there are some women out there that can't even book their own flight with a cell phone. They don't even know how to do that. They don't even know how to ask for a visa to a country. I mean, you would give her money. She doesn't even know what to do with it. You give her money and she goes, and later on, where's the money? Oh, I bought a bag, Gucci or Louis Vuitton. Really? You couldn't think about anything else? And she tells you, well, when you give somebody money, you don't ask them what they did with it. I mean, crazy stuff like that. Can we not say that the woman contributes as well when she stays home, giving you ideas, inspiring you, letting you release yourself when you stress? Can we not say that that is a decent enough level of contribution from a partner when you ask her some questions? I mean, we all know this. Most men, when they have worries and things that are bothering them, who do they speak to? Yeah, you may speak to a friend, you may speak to a colleague, you may speak to an expert somewhere. But at the end of the day, when you come home, when you're in bed, and something is really bothering, when she asks you, are you okay? You're probably going to speak to her about it. Does that not count as a contribution to building the wealth you've built together? Now, there is another point. The other point is you marry somebody that comes into your life. After 2-3 years, you want to take everything, if not half of the things you've accumulated before she arrived. That's a completely different subject, I believe. But for somebody that comes to your life, you shared life with for 13 years, you've built things together, you've got into business, you built a house, you bought land, you got properties, opportunities, money. Doesn't she deserve 50% of the stuff? Let's say you've had children together. Is it different if you had children compared to if she did not bear you any child? I want to know how you feel about this. Is 70% to 30% fair as a measure, as a splitting position for a couple that's separating because they did not get together? Or maybe they should come up with something along the lines of, okay, you know what? You want to keep your wealth and you'd rather stay together. If you stay together, you can keep your wealth. If you decide to move apart, then, well, whoever brought more money, take the money he brought. And I'm saying this in both ways because some women may, in the society today, do better than men. We see it. We see some women that are CEOs, that are representative of banks. They are major players in the business. If a woman makes so much money and wants a divorce, should she give 50% to her husband?
Mchana na mwanaume wakiwachana, wacha wagawane mali na katikati. Na ikiwezekana, mchana aende mali nyingi kwa sababu mwanaume ameharibu maisha ya yule mchana. Na mwanaume ataenda au bibi mwingine na mchana hatapata mtu wa kumwoa sababu aka na watoto wengi kupita kiasi.
Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. Or should we say, oh, because she's a woman, it shouldn't be 50%. God bless.